Hey guys, so what I want to do today is go over some of the basic calls that you can do with the mouth diaphragm call. For me, there's a handful that I like to do. I like to do the simple cluck, the yelp, the purr. I like to cut, and then I'm also going to go ahead and go over a fly down cackle. Now, to me, you can cut it down to the basics, which would probably just be the cluck, the purr, and the yelp. But I'm going to try to throw these in for you. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright guys, so what I'm going to go over now is just the simple cluck with the mouth diaphragm call. And you can do those, just singles or in combinations. And you'll see as we go here later and try to combine it maybe with some different yelps or into the cutting phase. And just use that as one of your basic calls is just the cluck. Alright guys, so what I'm going to go over now is the yelp. So there's a couple different versions that you can do with the yelp. Some would say a tree yelp, and then maybe just a general yelp or a lost yelp. With the tree yelp, normally I want to say that it's just maybe a shorter sequence with it. Also too, softer when it's in the tree versus when you're maybe doing a standard yelp. But what I'm just going to do now is just a series of a standard yelp for you. And that's just your basic yelp. Just a series or a rhythm of clucks pretty much combined with a higher pitch going through with them and carrying it on. And again, that's just the simple yelp. Tree yelp, shorter count, a little bit softer. And then what we'll get into is sometimes too, with it, you can play with just the aggressiveness with it, of how fast you're going with it and how hard you're doing it with the pitch or the tone for it. Trying to demonstrate maybe how anxious or excited the bird might be. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is the purr, and generally you can hear this just as a single purr by itself or with it with some clucks thrown in. So I'll probably do some purrs first and then maybe see about throwing in some clucks. So that's the purr. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is just go over cutting. For me, it's a lot of rapid clucks kind of together, and it's just trying to simulate that bird is very excited. Great way to get a gobbler excited and going if you're trying to get one pulled in. So here we go. So that's what I like to do is cutting, but what I normally do when I'm cutting is I'll throw in some yelps just to make it more realistic, and that's what we'll do maybe next. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is just try to combine some of the things together. What I like to do, as I mentioned before, is I like to combine cutting with yelping and put those together. And so here we go. So I maybe start off with a little bit of a yelp and then I get into the cutting and blend that through. But that's one of the things that I love to do to really get a gobbler excited and see if he's maybe hung up on me, and just one more thing to try to get him to come in. Alright guys, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is a fly down cackle. And so what this is the hens up on the tree or up in the roost, and they're doing just some miscellaneous clucks, maybe getting into some yelps, and then that flies down into or goes into their excited fly down. And so we'll go through that series. So we'll do that one more time again. It's kind of this excited, build of them building up their clucks to then all of a sudden it's this, big emotion and fly down, and then quietness perhaps, and then back to them calling a little bit once they've, landed and hit the ground. So that's what I do as a fly down cackle. Alright guys, well hey, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's just some of the basic calls that I like to do with a mouth call. Again, you can use all different kinds of cuts. You can also have a different number of reeds, different frame sizes. Play with them. I've got all different kinds here that I'm using right now from Hardy's Custom Calls. But find what works for you. For me, I generally like to use a multi-reed, at least a triple reed call with some nice cuts in it so that I can have that more deeper raspy sound. That's part of what I like to use, especially when I'm cutting. But to each his own, and just go out and play with it. I love using mouth diaphragm calls. It's just another tool that you can have in your toolbox and help to make sure that you're able to pull in those gobblers and be successful in this turkey season. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, make sure and set up your notifications to be aware of any content that I might be providing. And again, I appreciate you guys supporting me on this channel, and we'll see you on the next video.